That will be with us shortly. As promised in a previous video, here are some more adventures in the Renault Kadjar. We went out into the wild of Hoedspruit and beyond, into the Timbavati. So it's about 8 hours from Joburg. Well, probably about 7, but I mean, we took a little road trip, had a little breakaway here and there to film with the drone. Oh, this car is just so cool. But you can't film with the drone inside the game park, so let's get back to the animals from the ground level. On our first morning, we got to track some wild dogs, and well, we saw a bit of a commotion. There was blood and there was all kinds of squealing. Turns out they just made a small kill, and this one over here had basically all the meat and regurgitated it for the pack. This guy though just took everything. Such a pig. And word got out that there was food, and they came running from like every direction. There were so many. It was a full-on big pack. Small snack complete. It seemed the wild dogs had interest elsewhere. Lucas was onto this and he put foot. He was chasing these guys through the bush. Turns out the wild dogs were actually chasing 2 hyenas. Here's one of them sort of holed up in this bush over here. There was a smaller one in the vicinity. But I had no idea that wild dogs are such badasses. I mean, like, hyenas take on lions, they take on leopards, they take on anything. And here is one, well, in a kind of precarious situation. Although obviously his hiding powers are pretty good because he went unscathed. And after all of that, well, one of the great things about game drives is the morning coffee and rusks. And while that was happening, the hyenas were kind of regrouping on the other side of the river. Literally like 100 meters away. There they were there. The wild. It really is the greatest thing. So morning, afternoon, whatever it may be. Game driving is pretty much about just driving around slowly and waiting for things to happen. So Lucas, our driver here, he's obviously trying to spot things. And then there are a whole bunch of other vehicles within the park who are now walkie-talking to each other to say, well, we found this here, there's something here. And they're all talking in code, so you don't get too excited. But how the hell these guys spot these things? I mean, it's beyond me. As you can see, it is pretty camouflaged here. You can't see anything. And then all of a sudden, bam, leopard. Leopard in the riverbed. Such a little cutie. Well, savage beast, obviously. But I mean, look how adorable that cat looks. But how do you spot that? As an example, I mean, you're going around and you spot that? It's amazing. So this little kitty was by itself. Horrible flash photography from some tourists here. And the cat was like, ugh, not in the mood for this. And the kitty went for a walk. And then spotted this guy with a selfie stick. I mean, who has a selfie stick on the game drive? Gives him an evil eye. Runs away. What a knob. Coffee and rusks in the morning. Gin and tonics, crackers, cheese, snacks, that kind of stuff in the evening. Game drives are so cool. There's no cell phone reception. Just you and your friends talking about what you've been seeing, what you still want to see, chatting to the rangers. And then after that, well, every night you can have a braai, a potjie, whatever it is. You buy the fire, again with your friends, drinking wine, roasting marshmallows, under the stars, hearing the animals in the distance. This beats a beach holiday every single time for me. The wild isn't just about seeing the animals, it's the amazing scenery as well. So here we have a riverbed that's been dry for months, and out of nowhere, after some heavy overnight rains, it suddenly becomes a river. And in no time at all, you see a small trickle, you wait, you have a cup of coffee, and suddenly it is a fully flowing river. It's amazing, it's just amazing, the power, the beauty, all happening in front of your eyes. This really was such a special trip, and this place was obviously really, really incredible. And the company that we had, just so knowledgeable, and just been there so many times, they taught us so many different things. But I also learned that, well, without doubt, the cutest of all the animals out there is still the baby elephant. Like this little guy, just walking, not a worry in the world, floppy ears, little trunk, just having a great day out. As for the older elephants, well, they are just the most destructive to all trees. That's what they do. They just rip these things all day. It's amazing what they leave in their wake after a little feeding session. Giraffes, well, they try hide behind trees. Despite their really large size, they think this is still a good idea. And as for ostriches, well, they do actually try eat rocks. There's one in his neck right now. Madness. Then sadly the weekend was over, so it's back on the road, back into the Kadjar, and back home. The drive from Hoedspruit is actually not so bad. You get to go through Delstrom, very pretty, but the weather's pretty crazy. It goes from sunny to stormy in no time whatsoever. But hey, we weren't really complaining. We're in a cool car, it was nice and comfortable, had some good tunes, and before we knew it, we were back in Gauteng. So it wasn't so bad. Back in time to still have a decent Sunday evening and reflect on a really amazing weekend. This is first thing in the morning me, by the way. I know, I look amazing. The Kadjars reminded me what's cool about cars. Like I haven't been so what's the word, like connected to a car as I have been with this. And for various reasons, this car is just cool. It makes sense in so many different ways. Like, you have it's in my pocket. You have the keyless car entry kind of thing. It's just this. That's all it is. Pretty jazzy, huh? Very modern, very chic, very Renault. So you keep that in your pockets, and I know a lot of the cars do this nowadays. I mean, obviously it started with Merc and BMW, the pioneers and all this kind of innovative stuff. But you have it on your person. You don't have to worry about like conventional things as far as unlocking a car, locking a car. You walk up to the car, you touch the door handle, you're in. You walk away from the car, beep beep, it locks. Like, that kind of stuff is really cool. I love it. It just feels like you connected with the car. Innovation wise, inside the Bluetooth was seamless the whole time. There's nothing worse than getting into a car and you spend 10 minutes dicking around with trying to connect your phone, and you've got to take someone else's phone off, and this car is so great in the open road. This particular model, I mean, it's a 4-cylinder, 96 kilowatts. You don't think it's going to do too much, but it's just got so much oomph to it. It's so smooth. It's got acceleration where you need it. And inside, it's just so comfortable. Sound system's great in here. Like I said, the drive, although in town when you start off, it feels a bit jerky. Once you get used to this car, which takes like no time at all, it's just so smooth. It's got an eco mode, which obviously is great for fuel efficiency, which this car wins at, it really does. So you will get some accelerator mapping on that, obviously, with all eco modes, but it didn't compromise the ride to the point where it was like, ugh, this is dreadfully sluggish. It felt great, it felt fine. Plenty of space, great boot space. There is a 4x4 version of the Kadjar, which is a diesel model towards the upper end. It's just that, like, this car, it feels great in the city, it's great in the open road, it looks good. Renault are doing some wonderful things with cars right now. If you look with the new Renault Megane as well, that is a very good looking car. Like, the guy I work with has actually got one. Really, really nice. Really, really smart. So, you know, when the Renault Duster came out, it was like a nice sort of more affordable option of a little city slicker off-roader. This is very much, from what I gather, kind of like an upgrade to that as far as, easy duff. It's kind of like a more sophisticated version. You know, you maybe not want to rough it up as much as the Duster, but it's just, yeah, it's been fun. It's been great. I've done kind of all the things that I like doing in life. I've done it with this car, and never once have I felt compromised. Never once did I feel it was inadequate. And today it's gonna be kind of sad giving it back. I am now at work, and it just feels so natural driving this car. It feels so fun. Yeah, it's going back to normal life tomorrow of not this isn't going to be great. And when you feel like that about a car, clearly it's a really good car.